What's going on, guys? I'm trying something new today. I'm going to give you a full training breakdown on how to build out your offer for your coaching or course business. It's pretty simple stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, if you know what you're doing and you have some sort of influencer audience and you want to monetize that, then you need to be building a community to be able to upsell people into some sort of high ticket type of an offer. And so I'll go through the specific value ladder structure, how you should actually start thinking about this and being able to compile everything you possibly need to be able to do this successfully. So let's get right into it together, and I'll pop down my screen here. So real quick, this is going to be all about how to build, launch, and scale a membership model coaching business for you as a creator or an influencer, and you have some sort of following and you want to monetize that. So pay attention, because this is going to be the exact blueprint for how you can make 7 figures very quickly. So nonetheless, and also at the very end, there's going to be something that you want to stick around for, because I want to also touch on something, but just wait for that. So here today, we're going to cover what is an offer, why is it important, and why is it important inside of a coaching or course business specifically. And then the number 2 will be delivery mechanisms, and number 3 will be the finish line framework that I've developed. Number 4 is going to be value ladder and pricing. Number 5, outcomes and promises. And number 6 is how to specifically tie this all in with some specific naming conventions. And then lastly, like I said, I'm going to give you a full breakdown example of what I want to share with you and make an example about how I would do it, just picking something like basic and easy to utilize so you can see how it works. So stick around to see that. So number 1, what is an offer and why is it important? Well, an offer is a proposed solution that directly addresses a specific problem faced by the customer that is on a journey to achieve a specific goal. So if you have a goal in mind, typically someone's going to have a problem or challenge trying to get there, or else they would already be there if they didn't have that as a goal, right? They would already have achieved it. So our job as the creator, influencer, or just person in general is to create the solution to solve or bridge that gap for them. They're in a current situation. They want to be somewhere else, and they just need someone to help them get there, right? Because they can't do it themselves. We need to be that bridge to bridge that gap. They're here, they want to go here. We need to bridge that gap for them. So essentially, I just wanted to exemplify it with a simple illustration here. So for example, you have the roadmap to get them to that goal, and it's locked away somewhere, right? To them, that's how they're thinking. Like someone has this roadmap for me to get there, but it being locked up is them not being able to access that roadmap. They don't know how to do it, right? So this leads them to being like this, right? I want to unlock this to live my dream life, but I have no key to do it. We have to be the key to unlock that specific roadmap for them, right? So the desired goal is to unlock the roadmap to the dream life, but the problem is there's no key to unlock it, right? So what we are going to have to do and solve for that is to build that specific thing to bridge that gap. So the importance of it is it clearly will articulate the solution. Like the importance of doing this correctly is to clearly articulate the solution to someone who needs the solution. And if done right, they will feel like there's no other option to choose, right? There's going to be you, and there's going to be multiple other people that can typically do the same thing as you, but the way you do it has to be different, and the way you do it has to stand out. So that comes with different various other things that we can do to help us do that. And I'll share with you in just a second what the finish line framework looks like and what the value ladder structure looks like so you can differentiate yourself. So we'll go over that in just a second. But the importance of having this offer is to bridge that gap with the solution, okay, as the solution. So delivery mechanisms is pretty simple. You hear this a lot of the time. Like, what do I do? Low ticket, middle ticket, high ticket? Like, what's the best way to do it? Well, it's actually a pretty simple answer. It's a progression of starting at the lowest barrier to entry to the highest, right? So you're going to have a progression to get there. But for example, let's just say you built this key. Like you have this key to the roadmap for their dream life, right? And what it looks like for the different models here for the delivery mechanism is usually $0 to $99 is with a recurring element, which is like a membership site, will be the low ticket thing. Now that is like a Trojan horse of a bunch of other stuff, right? Like you're giving them a membership, but there's going to be so much that they're going to unlock inside that it's going to be ridiculous for them to want to leave. So that's usually the lower ticket. Now you can do individual things like books and stuff like that. Like we'll get into that in just a second, or for how you can see what typical delivery tools and stuff there are. But nonetheless, Do it yourself is usually the lowest thing, right? It's like, take this guide, take this checklist, take this mini course, or whatever the case is, do it yourself. And that's usually like the directions and ingredients to build out your own key to unlock, the safe, which was up above here, right? The safe that was locked with your dream life in it. So that's why I wanted to use the key, as an example here to be a little bit creative. But nonetheless, helping someone just do it themselves is like giving them the ingredients and the directions to go create the concoction that's needed to build this key in order for them to go unlock it, right? So they still got to do it all themselves. But number 2 is the done with you thing, right? It's usually $2K to $10K. It's like your flagship main core offer that you want people to get into. And now from here, this is where you're basically going to work with them. You'll give them the ingredients, right? But you're going to help them directly to build the key together. So for example, that's going to be like, you're going to have ingredients, they're going to have ingredients. You guys are going to sit down together and you guys are going to build all of it out. And then the key's going to be there, right? So that's how pretty much you would have a coaching structured offer built out. Now, this is like obvious that it's not super scalable unless you do group coaching, right? Which is ultimately infinitely scalable as long as you do it correctly here. Now, I always recommend everyone have some sort of higher ticket offer. This one needs to be obviously much more valuable than the membership offer, but this one is more so getting direct access to you as the creator influencer to be able to increase the perceived value that they're going to receive, right? You need to be just like your channels, right? I'm sure you don't talk to absolutely everybody. At that same point, you wouldn't do that for everyone inside of the lower ticket things, but you will more so in the higher ticket things, right? Where they can get more access to you, more access to your knowledge. It's really important. And then there's the really high ticket one, which is really fun, actually. We'll go into the specific ways you can structure those things out in just a second. But usually this one's like 10K or above. It has a recurring element to it as well. So this one is like, for example, there's masterminds that I've seen be very successful that are like 2K a month, and you get access to the VIP members area, right? Which is like a group chat with all the VIP members who are doing above 6 or 7 or 8 figures or whatever the case, right? Or whatever in your specific industry, whatever that would look like. And so you would have like a private VIP group there. And then you would have like quarterly events that you would run that you can invite everybody who's in that to a live event, either like at your house or some venue or whatever, and like do like a mastermind type of thing, right? And that's 2K per month, and you can get people to pay that per year. But essentially that's what that would look like for the highest ticket, because that's like direct access to you plus the really tight knit group of other people. And that's usually like you would want to keep very limited. Or have super distinct qualifications to even be able to get in there. Like you have to be doing, like for example, if it's make money online type of thing, then you have to be making at least 10K per month to be able to join that. Or if it's like fitness, then you have to have already completed your main core. Like you can, if you want to join this, then you have to have already been a client and been successful with my main coaching program, for example, and then just pull people out of that. But that's typically how you would have the different 3 delivery mechanisms set up. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. Do it yourself is giving ingredients to go build out the key by yourself. Done with you is we'll get the ingredients together and sit down and build it together, which is like group coaching with live calls and, giving in the course curriculum so you can know about all the stuff or whatever, like general coaching. The done for you is like, I will literally sit down with you and we'll have private conversations to do this together, right? Like I will help you literally hands-on. So that's usually what the different ways looks. But let's go into the finish line framework. And like I said, we'll tie all this in together, guys. So just stay along with me. This is like all the sauce that you're going to need to be able to understand how offers really do work. So the finish line framework here, and this is for any offer that you ever create. It doesn't matter if it's low ticket, a checklist even that you're going to give away, or the highest ticket thing that you have. Like this is how all of it always works, no matter what it is you're doing. So you always want to focus on whatever the thing is that we're going to deliver and whatever delivery mechanism we're going to utilize. Like for example, if we go from the first part that we touched on, it's like, what problem are we solving with this thing? And that could be from anything, right? If it's the mastermind, it's getting tighter knit group of high level achievers for people who want to network with each other that have that struggle to find a good tight knit group of people, right? And then the lowest ticket thing, like a checklist, it's obvious, like it's going to solve a specific problem for some sort of some narrow problem, not like a big problem. but something very small that's a whole solution to a specific problem, right? So that's an example, but this is how the frameworks are usually done. And then the delivery mechanism of how you're going to deliver that thing, like the checklist is like a do-it-yourself, or if I'm building out that offer to be the coaching business, it's going to be maybe done with you, or the higher ticket thing obviously done for you, or the mastermind-esque type thing. So to be super clear here, the big end result is the main focus of the offer. And this is usually how I always write it out. Like if you ever want to have a like a brainstorm sesh, I would always get this on a piece of paper or a whiteboard and just like map it out for how I want to deliver the thing, right? So I'll go through what this looks like. So the big end result is usually the overarching reason for anyone that wants to get this thing. Like it's going to be the outcome focused type of statement, which is usually, let's just say it's a fitness offer. I will help you lose 30 pounds in 30 days. I know it's ridiculous. Just for the sake of this specific offer thing or the promise here, I will help you lose 30 pounds in 30 days with my, fat burning blueprint, without giving up your best foods, right? Now that fat burning blueprint, maybe that's specifically a fat burning blueprint checklist or guide or ebook or whatever the case, right? Maybe if it's a specific problem, I will help you get the 6-pack abs that you want with my 6-pack, ab builder checklist. That could be a specific thing. Or if it's the mastermind, I will help you get connected with the highest level VIP members that I've collected inside of my community. So you can always have a group of guys or girls or people that you can always go to with questions for advice with super, super high level type of thinking. So you can always get the best answers and work with people who are above you or at the same level as you, right? That's super valuable for people. So that's an example of how you would structure like the big results focused offer. Like what's the result that they're going to get from this thing? Focus on that. And then we're going to build out the rest. So number two, the second section here, right? The phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, these things are really important to think about because that's going to be the specific phase by phase that you're going to walk them through to be able to achieve that end result. Now, just to show you an example here, and I'm going to draw on this because these things are the steps to get to this, the big end result. Like at a time, chronologically, you want to go through each of these stages together, right? So I put a little illustration here just to show you like what it really does look like. It's really important. So if this is your ideal prospect with their problem, right, that we're trying to bridge the gap for, they're going to go and they're going to try to figure out this thing by themselves, and depending on what stage of market awareness they're at, depends on how we need to speak to that person or what point in their journey they're in. But essentially, they're trying to get to the promised land, the big end result, the ideal outcome that they want to achieve after solving the problem that we're selling, right? So in order to get there, there's going to be big milestone blocks like checkpoints in a video game, for example. And the checkpoints have missions in between, like step-by-step missions to get to that checkpoint, right? It's the same idea here. So if you want to finish the campaign, you need to hit each checkpoint, but in between each checkpoint, you need to complete successfully each little mission to get there. So that's exactly what this guy's going to go on to. So each of these big lines you see in between here that looks kind of like a ruler, those are the milestones that exemplify each phase right here, right? So that's just what that's explaining. So in order to get there, there's going to be little steps. Boom, you see these little in-between lines right here, like little notches on a ruler. Those are going to be the directions, which is like the ingredients to go achieve the big phase, to get to the checkpoint. So for example, those are the steps to achieve the milestone. Those are the missions to get to the checkpoint. Okay. So that's really important to think about because this is like how you can build a course, for example. The big promise that you're going to give them from building out this course, the phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, those would typically be like the module names of like phase 1, this is the whole module, and then all of the listed lessons inside to achieve that module and complete that module with the outcome of that promise of that module. Like if this was fitness, for example, right? Then the phase 1 would be how to become self-accountable, right? And then all the steps necessary, maybe my secret sauce that I've developed myself or whatever the case is to give that person would be listed out in all the steps here that they would go through. By the end of going through all those things, they would have achieved the specific phase here and successfully became self-accountable, right? That's the idea. And you want to do that for every single thing. Now, you might be thinking like, well, how can I do that if it's like a lead magnet? How can I do that if it's like an ebook or something like that? It's the same exact thing. Like ebooks have chapters, checklists have, you can group them, right? A checklist doesn't have to be just one big list of check marks. It could be like you can group them, which by the way, people work them in their mind. They work based on steps. So if you have like step 1, checklist, step 2, checklist, step 3, checklist, same thing in order to achieve that big end result. If you can break things down with steps, it's going to be way simpler. So even if it is a checklist or even if it is a guide or whatever the case is, a course, right? Stuff like that. You always want to make sure it's always numbered. It's really important. And how many numbers? Definitely don't go over 10. If it's like an ebook or a lead magnet with a checklist or a guide, when it gets over 10 steps, it's like just boil it down. Like I would try to boil it down to, if you can get it to 3, that's perfect. 3, 4 to 5 is like sweet spot. More than 10 is just ridiculous. So I would always go for the round numbers. I'd either go for 3, 4, 5, or 10. Anything in between there is kind of like, you're not really going to remember the thing. So you always want to think about it like that as well. So hopefully this makes sense. Let me know if you have any questions down in the comments below for if you want any more clarity on this. But essentially, you always want to make sure that all the big results focused offers, promises, however you build anything, is always clear with the steps, with milestones to get there and the checklist underneath each milestone to eventually get to that goal that you're promising. And then obviously you can give it a timeline or whatever the case. Obviously, if you can. If you can't, then don't worry about it. But maybe over time you can kind of gauge whether or not it's quick for them to go through. Now, I want to show you this because this is what I was trying to say. These typically turn into your unique selling proposition, which is the most important part about building it this way as well. So if you're ever thinking like, how do I differentiate from the market? How do I ever take what I know and sound different? Like how can I make my thing unique? And that's one of the hardest things that people always have. And the way to do it is to take your process. You don't have to have like a unique upgrade of a specific thing, right? If it's like my specific way to build abs, right, is going to be different from someone else's because of the way I teach it or the way I say it or the way I structure it. Even if it was directly the same as someone else, like word for word, it's different because it's you delivering the thing. So people will learn from you differently than they will learn from someone else. So like even just the way you explain the thing will be different than someone else. So just because someone else might have something similar, being that it's you, it's going to be most important to always remember that you are the expert, you are the influencer, you are the voice for these people to listen to, and they're going to want to learn directly from you. So as long as you can always remember that, you're always going to succeed. But this is going to be how you're going to use the unique value proposition so you can actually package it for your offer. And these turn into the specific core individual lead magnets that you can create. For example, if I did create this as a course, right? I use this thing for a course build. Now, let's just say the end result here is maybe this topic, right? How to build out your first course, which I actually am coming out with. So you guys could go experience that and do this whole thing. And I'll go in depth on all these. But nonetheless, how to build your first course, right? And then phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. Those 4 phases will be my unique proposition, which is like my course builder blueprint, my course builder launch framework or whatever, that I would walk you through those phases, right? And that's my unique value proposition because I have a unique way to help someone build and deliver a course for them, which I actually do, right? It's my it's dynamic membership method. I was going to say model or method. And I recently just developed it as well. But the way that I deliver it makes sure that students get the highest success rates as possible. Like there's big benefits to my process, right? And those are the things you got to think about. Like what's the big benefits of this process that's different potentially from other people? And those are the things you got to think about. So what's the big benefits? What's the downside that other people will have that you don't have that you can make yourself different from, right? So stuff like that are really important to think about. That's going to be how your process is going to be different. And then underneath each of the modules, when I have listed out specific things, like if this was, phase 1, and then like one of the steps was how to structure your LLC the correct way, maybe I can pull that thing out. Maybe it's highly searched, which you can go on Google Trends, Answer the Public, right? Those sites I'll link down below in the description box if you want to check those out. But you can go to those sites pretty much and look up the keywords of like how to structure an LLC, right? You can always look that up and it'll share with you how highly searched it is. So taking that information on each of the specific things that you have listed out as far as steps go for them to achieve each phase, then you're able to create your own individual lead magnets. Maybe I take that specific topic out and I create a checklist. Maybe I create a guide, maybe an ebook, or multiple things at once and test which ones actually are delivered and wanted more. That's the way I would do it. Obviously, those things take time, but if you have some sort of influence, obviously, if you're watching this, you probably do, then you want to take those ideas, put them out to your audience and be like giving polls, like doing polls so you can actually get some feedback so you can start like saving some time on building this stuff out. It's really important there. So hopefully that makes sense. Let's move on to the value ladder. And this is typically what the value ladder looks like. So as you can see, it's like a step-by-step, literally like a staircase. And we take the numbers from what we did earlier, right? As we saw, the low ticket, middle ticket, main offer, high ticket. So you see a lot of people today launching membership models and membership sites and whatnot that are the lower ticket, like under $100 per month as a recurring thing. And then you don't really ever hear on social media anyway about them upselling people into the higher ticket things, which you should absolutely do still. So it's not that the membership model or the monthly recurring subscription model is like replacing high ticket. You're just putting it in front of people as the low ticket thing instead of just giving away an ebook or just giving away a checklist or a mini course for free, right? Or for a super low ticket as a one-time payment. What you're doing is you're going to package up all of your assets that you've ever built. If you have already, or if you haven't yet, we're going to build out I say millions, but like what I'm trying to say is like a ton of assets, resources, right? PDFs, as you can see here, PDFs, checklists, guides, ebooks, mini courses, which obviously has to be inside. You have to have a course curriculum, or physical books, right? Or like physical products. You can give them a t-shirt for joining and stuff like that. And then having a members only section where it's going to be, just communication, or you're going to get on live calls and stuff like that, Q&A or whatever the case, right? You're going to hire a coach to come in and be an accountability partner for people, stuff like that. Hire authors or, other coaches to come do an interview live for your group specifically. Like all that kind of stuff is super important to do. So those are different things you can think of, but that's typically what's going to be here. And that's going to be either free to $99 or $97 per month as a recurring subscription model. Now you can do that, or you can just separate all the things and test a ton of different things out in the market as a one-time payment. So you can do that still. Either way, it'll all work nonetheless. So you're going to take these as hooks with bait, right? That's going to be like the bait to get people in. People are going to start learning from you. Obviously, this is supposed to still deliver the value. Even if we packaged up all these things, it's going to be the same specific problem typically that this main offer is going to solve. It's just going to be at a lower level of attention that you're going to give them. So just like you would have each of these individually solve a specific problem, you can do that still and compile everything and still have it deliver what you're going to deliver in your main offer. But it's going to be like I said, the lower level of attention you're going to give them. Now, with that, you can hire coaches to give them still attention, but like attention from you as the creator or expert. You want to withhold as much attention as you possibly can while still delivering the best results possible, so you can still hold that leverage of them wanting more time from you as the expert, right? So as long as you can hold that frame, you're going to be able to upsell people into a higher ticket type of private group coaching type of environment. So that's exactly what you're going to have here. So this is your flagship main core offer that you want to start feeding as much as you possibly can as a one-time payment, high ticket, as many people as you possibly can get from this low ticket. So you always want to filter people in from the lower things into the bigger things. That's how it's always structured. So as you ascend them up, it's going to work just the same. People who come into this one are going to want even more time from you and ask you about, like, hey, do you have like a mastermind? Do you have like a private VIP group? Because there's so many people in this coaching community. I want to be able to talk to the ones who are super successful. Like, do you have a small group that you just have of like a ton of killers that just, you guys are just, absolute savages? Oh, I never thought about that. Okay, let me build that out. Let me offer people, I'm going to do 24K a year. I'm going to have only 10 people in that little mini group. We're going to do private masterminds together. We're going to go out to different parts of the countries or different parts of this country or other countries and hold an event or whatever the case, stuff like that, where you can always make it super exclusive and make it a very, very intimate type of an offer here. So that's really important. This is going to be how you can structure things out to be extremely successful. And all of these things, like that's huge for, your PR and stuff like that. So you can always make those things like a biz op or a photo op so you can leverage them for business. Super important. So that's how the value ladder is structured out. And the whole principle to take away from this is your attention means more to them than the specific thing that you're solving when it comes to the delivery method, right? So for example, when they go through this, people know they don't want to do it themselves, but they're going to get it because they're going to have that initial feeling of like, hey, I think I can actually do this. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to see what's inside. And there's live coaching still. So I'm going to still get some sort of help and get questions answered. And then boom, all of a sudden they get tons of value from that. They're like, what's the next step here? Like I want to level up from this. I want to join the group and actually talk to the person, right? I see them on all these videos. I think they're really, really helpful. And all of a sudden you offer some sort of, opportunity for them to join your higher ticket thing. Now they book a call with you, or you just sell them via a group message, right? Or a DM or something like that in your platform or wherever you're holding this. And then from there, they buy it and they join your group coaching or that private one-to-one sessions or something like that to get more time from you. And then those people who are successful are like, they want to be more with you and around you and do cool things with you and stuff like that long-term. And then boom, you upsell them into the next thing. That's how it works, guys. That's the secret sauce here. Just so you know, I've studied this for years now at this point. Like I literally, when I first got into this space, Dot-Com Secrets was the first book I ever read. And Russell Brunson's I've modeled everything from ever since I started. And I just been helping other people implement it. Now I'm starting to build it for myself too. I'm a launch partner. So I work with creators and experts and other influencers to help them build this out. But over time, I'm going to start building this personal brand by doing these YouTube channels and helping other people get into this industry and build out courses and stuff like that and become what I'm doing as well. So that's my whole goal here too, and nonetheless. But this is the components as well to develop your offer. So making sure that you always have this to be able to create your delivery statement to whoever it is you're trying to do this for. Obviously, you should already have known these things, but like to be able to package it all up is really important to make sure these different components are in place. So you got to know who you're selling to. That's really important. Now, there's unique ways to do this and very, very specific ways to make sure it's actually accurate and very, very clear. So if you wanted help with that, or if you want another video on specifically how to develop your ideal buyer, your avatar, it is quite simple, but it will require a different video since it's its whole own topic. Now, just drop down in the comments if you want to know about that. The USP, that's going to be really simple too. Like we already went over above in the video here about how to create your USP out of your own unique process. The way to name that, I'll give you some ideas down below here, but you always want to make sure that that's there. And then you always want to know what your promise is to them, right? That's like your guarantee or something like that. Potentially maybe a risk reversal or whatever the case is here. The promise needs to be extremely clear. It needs to be the result that they absolutely want. And that needs to be something that it feels a little bit uncomfortable to promise, but you know you can deliver on it. It just might be a challenge. Like that's how you should feel about it really. So for example, like I can say, I will build you as a creator or influencer. I will help you build a 7-figure course or program for coaching. I know that this will do that. This will absolutely be able to do that. Now it might be in a specific time frame that depending on your situation, it would take a certain amount of time, but I know for sure you'll be able to make 7 figures with doing this. It's not impossible, and it's more than possible. Actually, it's actually proven. I've done it. So in order for us to have some sort of promise like that, like for me, if I've never done it, it might be like, oh, that's a stretch. I don't know if I can actually deliver. I've never known what that was like. So you always want to make sure it's something that you've already done for one, but a promise that is super, super appealing to where it's like, also the risk reversal on top of that, right? That I would be able to keep as far as that promise goes. Like if that was my promise, I'll help you build a 7-figure course in, 12 weeks, right? That's pretty tough. But then I can also say, or I will work with you for free until we actually achieve that. So that implies that I'll partner with you until we actually get there. Which is like pretty good risk reversal. I'm not a huge big person on refunds and stuff like that. I don't think it's necessary, only because if you're going to spend time doing something for someone and they want a refund back, it's super disrespectful for one, but you always want to make sure you can manage the narrative with people to make sure that the value you're providing them is actually good value. So as long as that's the case, you shouldn't even get any refunds being asked for regardless. But nonetheless, with the promise, you always want the delivery mechanism that you're going to have for that specific type of thing that you're creating. Like I said, with a guide or the mastermind, the avatar is going to generally be the same, but you can always figure out what promise that we're going to have to solve that specific problem. Like the promise is going to be the solution to the problem that you're creating this thing for. And the unique selling proposition is the unique way that it's delivered with the way that you actually teach the thing, right? Or the way that you actually created the thing to be given to them. If it's like a physical product, to be the same exact thing, right? So with that, the delivery mechanism, knowing exactly how that's going to be delivered to them in either via course or ebook, guide, one-to-one private coaching, group calls, whatever the case. Always make sure that these are the 4 things that you always have inside of your offer in order for it to be successful. Now, let's get into this last part here. There's the examples down below for some naming conventions I'll have for you, but developing your promise statement is really important. So being able to if you got asked inside of the classic, like if you were at a party and someone asked you, like, what do you do? What are you going to say? Right. It's pretty standard, but I think it's really important to think about, because if you can just explain it real quick to someone so they understand exactly what it is you do, the simplest way you can put it is the easiest way for them to be able to trust you and understand exactly what it is that you're going to do as a promise, right? So it's always I help, and then the explainer, right? And then ideal avatar. Let me just draw along with this, and I'm going to use green right now. Let's use green. So I help, explainer, ideal avatar, 2, ideal desired outcome in less than X time frame with my unique value prop without biggest pain. Pretty simple, okay? And this is the example that I put down here for how you can say it, right? This is really important because you need to be extremely specific as much as you possibly can with everything that you do here, because people want to exactly know and not have any sort of room for unclarity, right? Because if they're unclear on anything, they're going to be confused and they're not going to want to talk to you or work with you. So it's really important to think about. So if you're saying, I help busy single divorce moms torch fat and keep it off in less than 12 weeks with my A1 fat loss system without needing to give up your favorite foods, right? So that is very specific, right? So you saw, I have my explainer, busy single divorce moms. So that means like maybe they work full time, they're single and divorced and they're mothers, right? Pretty specific of a person. So the more specific you can get here, like maybe this is struggling writers or struggling first time book writers, right? Something like that. Struggling first time, I'm trying to think of another thing here. I think you get the point I'm trying to make though. Like having the explainer, like the struggling, busy, like it could be specifically like you can, but to be clear, you can use this promise statement for every single delivery thing that you create, all the ebooks and whatever, right? So taking this, the torch fat and keep it off is the ideal desired outcome for this specific person after doing my research and knowing exactly what they want. And less than 12 weeks is the time frame that I generally can deliver that in. If I were to promise anything, what am I feeling comfortable with, or how long is my program going to be, or how much time is usually on average needed to be able to deliver that result? That's what we're going to make sure that is clear here. Usually the days and stuff for timing is usually going to work in like weeks, days, or honestly, that would probably be as much as I would ever make it out to be. Like if it's 3 months, put it as 12 weeks. Weeks sounds better than months. Okay. If it's more than that, then you want to do days, like 180 days, right? Would be 6 months, right? So that's an example there. 12 weeks, I can also say 90 days. right? And I can also do it for any days below that, 30 days or in 1 month, right? Whatever sounds less, you always want to go with. Like 30 days sounds less than 1 month, right? And so you always want to think about that. So 8 weeks sounds less than 2 months. So you want to think about how you're going to structure that. Or 60 days types of thing sounds like a lot less. So that's something that you always want to think about. And then my unique selling proposition, and then the specific biggest pain. You can use ChatGPT for a lot of this too, to be clear. Like, you can be like, hey, I'm working with single divorced moms who are super busy in their life. Like, what is their biggest pain when it comes to trying to torch fat and keep it off, right? So you can always look that up, and then boom, all of a sudden it's going to give you like the biggest things. Maybe you can say, then refine this to the biggest one main thing that they struggle with, on average. And then it'll give you that one main thing. And that's like a good starting point, right? And then maybe you can interview some people or, ask around and stuff like that if you know anybody of your ideal audience, and do a quick little survey analysis to make sure that like that's the real thing. So that's a good way to do it, so you can get this extremely clear. But boom, this is done. Now that's your thing, right? That's what you do. That's the thing that you do if someone were to ask you, what do you do at a party, right? So now let's get into the naming conventions. This is like, yeah, this is cool, but like, how can I come up with like the A1 fat loss blueprint or whatever for myself? Well, it's pretty simple, okay? This is the components of naming your thing. You need to have clarity over cleverness, okay? You need to have outcome focused. Every single time it needs to be outcome focused. You need to have your target audience in mind for what it is they want. And some of them potentially, that's usually just about what they want in your target audience. The uniqueness to stand out. This obviously plays a huge role in making the name sound unique in its own way. And also the use of numbers and specifics is a good thing to have, but you don't need it. This is like the components here. You need to include a lot of these, but not all of them are required, obviously, right? So then the promise and simplicity, that's also, that's an obvious thing that's definitely needed. That's going to imply like the promise that you're going to do with the delivery thing. Like, for example, lean and strong in 30 days, like that is a promise, right? That is outcome focused. It's clear, right? And the uniqueness is not really there though. As you can see, like the uniqueness of a name to stand out is not really there unless I were to create it as something like, the lean and strong 30-day challenge or something like that. Could be make it a little bit more unique, and include that sort of uniqueness in here. But these are just some examples that I pulled as well. I had a few prompts that I just used inside of ChatGPT. So like, it just goes to show that you can build a lot of these inside of that as well. And I can teach you guys how to do that too. Leveraging AI, which definitely recommend, but you want to be a little bit more creative. Like, you can't come up with these ideas unless you know ahead of time what you're going to search up and why you're going to search the thing up, or else it's not going to give you the things that you're looking for, right? So thinking about this, for example, going through the examples, 10X fitness blueprint. This offer, it clearly communicates a fitness program promising significant results that will 10X improvement and appeals directly to fitness enthusiasts looking for transformative outcomes, right? Boom. That's pretty simple. Lean and strong in 30 days. This targets individuals seeking both weight loss, lean, and muscle gain to be strong with specific time frame, 30 days, which is clear and outcome focused as a promise. Financial Freedom Accelerator. It's for business financial coaching program. This name suggests rapid progress toward financial independence and appealing to those seeking true freedom from financial constraints. Really important there. So some examples here. And as you can see, I don't think I need to go through every single one of them, but you get the point, right? It's very clear. Ultimate marketing playbook. Boom. 100 new clients in 90 days could be like my thing. This offer name combines specificity, 100 new clients with a time-bound outcome for 90 days. Like, that could be the whole thing, right? This is all included. It's just not all bold. So that's like the whole promise. Ultimate marketing playbook. 100 new clients in 90 days. So you can see how it appeals to business owners looking to scale their business as well. And then Healthy Habits Bootcamp for health and wellness program. Obviously, that's pretty specific. There's no time frame or anything like that, or no number oriented things, but it's really important to, like, obviously, as you read this Healthy Habits Bootcamp, it directly implies like what it's going to be, right? Become and form healthy habits, change your lifestyle type stuff. So Career Pivot Masterclass. So that's obvious. It's kind of like the similar-esque to this. So it implies like you're going to pivot your career, and it's a masterclass to help you do so. So it's like professionals who have a career who want to pivot, right? It's pretty specific and obvious. So you can see how simple, but how unique they do sound from each other. and how you can create your own thing too with doing that. Now, this is exactly, all of this stuff is exactly what I help everyone else do. So it is pretty important for you guys to always understand that building out your offer is very, very time consuming if you don't know what you're doing, right? So as long as you follow this type of framework and have that thing, then you're going to be able to successfully do this, right? So I'm going to give you an example of literally my entire value ladder so you can see exactly how I would structure it, right? So it's pretty cool. Now, I just took the idea from the above thing. I took Career Pivot Masterclass and I just took that same angle and created my own value ladder tiered for the structures of my offers for how I would structure out my entire business. So I can go to market and actually start building this shit out. So it's pretty cool, right? So my lowest level, I said, I'm going to do a membership site, right? I'm going to have Career Pivot Masterclass. That's going to be a membership site. I'm going to charge $67 a month. And the big promise to that is going to help people pivot in their career. Easy. So the specific promise statement would be something that obviously we can develop depending on who you are and who you want to work with specifically. To be able to be extremely clear there, but it's going to help people pivot in their career. So I'm going to have a full membership site, deliverables and resources, course content, coaching support, right? Guided professional tracking, which is pretty much like I'm going to help you and track your progress with you, or hire a coach underneath me to help you with that. That's going to be your personalized coach. And then group Q&A with me, and then with all the other coaches too on different days potentially. And then I'm going to also give you credits each month for you to unlock new trainings that I have from my main coaching offer up here. So that's going to be an incentivization for you to stay, right? That's going to be something that the cost of leaving is more painful than the cost of staying. So the cost of staying, you always want to be more beneficial for them, right? You always want to make sure that that feels like it's less painful than the pain that they would receive leaving the thing. So that's really important. So the credits to get the private training recordings, or maybe you can redeem, like if you stayed for 3 months and you get 3 credits, like if you get 1 credit a month and you save up 3 credits, then you have a full hour or you have a full month of 4 calls with me that you can redeem those credits for. Like those are creative things that you can do to help increase the likelihood of people staying in your thing and getting as much value from it as possible. So that's really important to have like that. And then boom, I'm going to have people go into there. It's going to be $67 a month. I'm going to have a funnel structure to be able to run people and paid traffic into this. And also from my organic channels, you're going to go pay $67 a month. And then over time, I'm going to build up an audience in there. Obviously, I'm going to start building up my specific community. People are going to be asking me for more help and wanting to spend more time with me. So I'm going to have this coaching offer, which is one-to-many. I'm going to have a group coaching structure. I'm going to call it my Career Advancement Accelerator, which is going to be the same esque type of thing, but it's going to be an accelerated version because it's more in-depth, more personalized. So we're going to help burnout 9-to-5ers ditch their boring job and quickly move into the dream career with our 3P career pivot system in less than 90 days without having to quit or take a pay cut, right? So that's going to be my specific thing. And I'm going to, like, for example, my unique thing could be my different forms of income outside of their main job, so they can start, getting to a point where they can make the decision to leave their job if they want. So maybe that's my thing. And that's going to be $59.97 times 1 time, right? So $6K pretty much 1 time. They're going to upsell into that. They're going to get group coaching and one-to-many and private calls with me, so that we can actually get them to get there. And that's going to be the value that they're going to get, is like direct help, customized roadmap done with you together to get you to that specific goal that you want to achieve, right? And that's only going to come if they get value from this main membership model. So you're going to upsell them into this one via a phone call or just texting them or DMing them or whatever the case. So that's really important there too. So lastly, obviously from people successful here, you're going to upsell them into the next thing. So my next thing could be my coaching offer. I didn't fix this, so scratch that coaching offer. It would be private 1-to-1 plus mastermind, right? So that's going to be where I would have like individual calls, maybe 30 minutes here and there, just like maybe a phone call or voice notes back and forth, something where they can personally communicate with me. So I'm going to have private events, 1-to-1 direct access with me, VIP private group community with exclusive trainings and consulting that's only specific to these people. That's really important to have. So thinking about it like that, like that's super valuable. And that's going to be $15K per year. They can meet up with me. They can go on private events. We can have one-to-one access, right? VIP private group access with all the other high-level achievers who are also in that mastermind group. And then also the exclusive trainings and consulting that is only available for them. It's like all the new things that are coming out that you're constantly putting out privately for them. So that's really important. So you can see it's pretty simple to put out on paper, but like building it out obviously takes a lot of time to think about, well, what's best for me? And I totally get you. I was literally in the same spot until I built out mine. So obviously I've been doing this for years for other people, and it's pretty easy to do so. And we've made a lot of money doing it, like multiple 7 figures at this point by doing this in literally less than 12 months. I've done it for about 10 months so far. So it's been pretty fun, pretty easy to do. And the next steps below are going to be pretty much if you want to potentially join my community to be able to do this and learn this as well. I'm building one out. It's not done yet at all. I just recently decided I'm going to start taking branding very seriously after doing, the successful things that I've done for other people at this point. And so I want to build out my own community. I'm going to help people. I want to help you influencers and creators with a brand be able to build this and do this within my community as well. It'll probably be somewhere around 67 to like $85 a month or something like that, because I think that the value that you're going to get from there will literally be like 1,000 times more than the cost that it's going to take to be able to stay inside the community. So I genuinely know that if you took action with the things I'm going to give you, it's going to change your entire way that you're going to look at making money with your brand or influence. So I want you to be able to get access to that as well. So if you do want to have access to it, let me know, because I am building it out. I'm still building the course curriculum and stuff like that. I had yet to actually take time to do that because I've been working with so many people that I'm launching their business for, because I do this as an actual launch partner. Like my main offer it's like a higher ticket, one-time setup fee with a recurring revenue performance share on the back end, because I literally run and manage all of it for you. You just show up and deliver results. Like I literally do everything else. So that's like my main offer, but I want to have obviously the lower barrier one here. I'm practicing what I preach, obviously. So you can join it and see how it works. And then if you wanted my direct help to do it for you, obviously, then we would have the ascension into that as well. So you can see like it all works the same. I was always focusing on the main thing that I've done, because I needed the skill set to develop more and good enough to be able to actually start something where it could be like a course or a community or something where I can actually prove that I've done what I do. And so when people go into that and learn from me, they can actually have success without me needing to do it for them. And then they ascend into me doing it for them. Pretty simple stuff. And then, the higher ticket thing usually comes later. But the main thing here is the model that you want to follow. It's like community aspect, low ticket, ascend them into main core ticket, make sure the pain for them leaving is more of a pain than them staying. So that way they actually stay. Use the credit aspect of the thing, because that's going to give you massive leverage to be able to increase lifetime value for each of your students. Ascend people as much as you can into the main thing, as many people as you can take on, depending on what that thing is. And that's pretty much when you would build out the higher ticket thing. Like it's an ascension. So if you want all of this mapped out for you and you want help with this, I would be willing to do this for you as well. Unfortunately, right now, at the time of recording this video, I have like 5 spots open. I mean, you can go ahead and apply. There's a link down below that'll show you exactly how to go find, or how to click the thing, go apply, or maybe watch a case study. I have a case study where I've actually broken down how we got someone from 0 to 7 figures in less than 2.5 months. Pretty easy. It was really quick, and they were like a somewhat lower level at the time creator, like I think it was actually close to about 35 to 40,000 subs on YouTube. And they had just started, mind you, like they just did videos that caught attention very quickly. So we got him from 0 to 7 figures very quickly in revenue, doing exactly this, focusing on the specific core offer and then building everything out around it to be able to feed people into that core offer was really important for us. So that's how it should be structured. I'd love to do it for you. Go apply. There's 5 spots right now at this time for me to do this for a couple of people who really want to take their influence and their creator brand to the next level and monetize their audience. So if that sounds like you, then click the link in the description below the video and apply, and we'll sit down and we'll have a quick chat and see what we can do together. But nonetheless, hopefully you got some great value from this video. I really am trying to take this extremely serious here. So I'd love some actual feedback if you have any for me. And yeah, keep growing, keep scaling. I'd love to hear some successes or any epiphany moments you got from this. And find me on my other channels too, but I'm going to focus on YouTube specifically and a podcast that I'm coming out with, because typically the most valuable clients and students always come from podcasts or long form stuff, because you're looking for specific answers here, and podcasts, you're in the most vulnerable states when you listen to them. I listen to them as well, and you're just in a better headspace rather than swiping through with, dopamine mind on TikTok or Instagram, right? Obviously a lot more emotion comes from those things, but like more logical thinking and like actual decisions are made by listening to real people talk and be able to actually digest those things pretty deeply. So nonetheless, hopefully you got value. Thanks so much for watching this one all the way through. I'm going to be coming out with a lot more. This is I'm also going to be creating a series. If you guys stick around, I'm going to be creating a series to where it's going to be my step-by-step process to build my own community and scale my own coaching business to over 100K per month with my recurring model. So I want to show you exactly how I'm going to do it myself, since I've done it since I've built a 7-figure business for other people at this point. I want to do it for myself with the membership model specifically, and help you guys do the same thing in the process as you watch me do it. So stay around for that. I'm going to really take that extremely serious. I'm going to be posting on here on YouTube, and I'm going to be also posting on IG, and I'll make a few podcasts about it. But yeah, let me know, guys, in the comments if you have any questions at all whatsoever. Drop them down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.